Hey, we're the Geeky guys, and today it's just a quick conversation really, because I want to talk about Superman.
Yeah, it's a good idea, that.
Just because there was a lot of rumours about maybe a solo Superman film again, and it all kind of died down after Justice League came out.
It did, which was a shame, so we're looking forward to that one.
Because let's face it, Justice League didn't quite do as well as they thought.
No, I think that's kind of why they've held back sort of part 2, haven't they? They need to have a bit of a rethink on it.
They were going to do part 1, part 2. They changed their minds and just made it one film. But there's no part 2.
Yeah.
It didn't quite work. Some things in it I really liked, and we talked in a previous podcast about this. About some of the cool stuff they put in just for real big fans, a little bit.
Yeah, they had like the little bit of John Williams music, didn't they?
Yeah.
Superman, and they had a little bit of 1989 Batman music when Batman was doing like a chase
And the
scene
Wonder
as
Woman
well.
thing as well.
And of course that as well, yeah.
But because of it, obviously all the rumours, the solo film dried up. Batman is still on hold slightly.
Yeah, we don't know what's happening with Ben Affleck. Yeah,
decided not to take the role, or had been invited not to. I don't know what the case is with that.
Might still happen,
but yeah, Superman kind of got left behind a little bit, and it's one of the main characters that rely on to bring stuff in, and I think not doing a standalone film again is a bad idea.
Yeah, they always do well, don't they? They always seem, for me, I think even now we've had lots of team-up films, I still think the solo films do better sometimes.
Superman's always been one of those that's done fairly well.
Apart from maybe Superman 4, but other than that...
Don't talk about Superman 4.
No, don't talk about that.
Apart from the fact Chris Reeve still pulled off a fantastic performance,
still good at it,
unbelievable.
You can kind of forget Dolph Lundgren and Nuclear Man, can't you?
It was, not Dolph Lundgren.
Was it not?
No, it's Mark Pillow played Nuclear Man in Superman 4.
Oh, right. It's a bit
it's
like
his
Dolph
only acting role to date.
Right. It's not the one you'd want to put on your showreel, is it really, for getting your next job?
Not really.
To be fair.
I mean, the original Superman film came out in 1978, and
right.
They didn't know how well it was going to do, and it smashed the box office.
No, I think I've seen an interview before, even Christopher Reeve thought it might have just been a one-off thing and not go anywhere.
Yeah, and it worked. They did the others, of course, and then we jumped to the 90s with Lois and Clark, which, to be fair, Dean Cain's performance was obviously better as Clark Kent than it was Superman, but I still liked his Superman.
Yeah,
there's a lovely line in an episode where he's explaining to Lois when she finds out that he's Superman, and she's a bit annoyed that he's Superman as well, and he kind of explains that Clark's who he is, Superman's what he can do.
Yeah, that's right.
And that's quite nice. But his portrayal of Clark, Superman, and Lois and Clark, and the whole relationship between them really made it work.
Yeah,
to be fair, a couple of series of doing really well. I think some of the storylines let it down a little bit towards the end, and before it ended up going off.
Beat it off a little bit.
And then obviously 2006 turned up, and Brendan Routh, of course.
Yeah.
Superman Returns, and I felt let down for him. I thought his performance was really good.
Yeah, it was like Superman.
It was, story-wise, for fans of the original stuff, there was a lot of nod backs to the original.
There's loads, aren't there?
Bryan Singer wouldn't even do the film unless he had access to the original score and Marlon Brando's original dialogue.
Yeah.
To use.
She remastered a little bit, I think, didn't she?
Yeah, they spent a lot of money doing that.
In fact, would you say with Brandon Routh, you tend to get this with Superman and with Batman, and perhaps not with other characters, where you perhaps have an actor come in and they'll play one aspect of the character well and the other not so well. Did you think Brandon Routh was a better Superman or a better Clark Kent? For me, it was probably a slightly better Clark Kent.
Yeah, he certainly had the Christopher Reeve mannerisms and style about his Clark Kent, which was really good. His Superman was okay, actually. I think it was okay. I think it ages Dean Cain's Superman.
Yeah, I would say so.
And it had a lot of nod back, so we had Noel Neill, who was in it, the original Lois Lane from the original 50s with George Reeves.
Superman.
And the original Jimmy Olsen, of course, from that series, was in it as the barman. My memory palace has let me down because I can't remember his name now. But I want to say Jack Larson. I really want to say Jack Larson.
We can check that later, see if that's right.
Yeah, see if we've got that right.
If he's got it wrong, just tweet him and tell him. Tell him he's an idiot.
Tell me I'm an idiot. But no, I'm sure it's Jack Larson. So yeah, that was really good. The original score. We got real. It carried on from where Superman 2 finished basically. Yeah. So he tied it into the original thing. It was okay. I liked it. I thought it was. I remember.
It was decent enough.
It got people talking. Coming out the cinema after watching it. It was quite a long time ago now. And there were some people talking about Superman, and they said, and they was talking about Lois and Clark.
Yeah.
So comparing it to Lois and Clark, and you hear someone say something and they get something wrong, and you really want to correct them.
Yeah.
And they get an episode wrong. And it was very much an Alan Partridge moment, stop getting Superman wrong.
It just boils up inside you and you want to say something, but you really shouldn't.
But yeah, that was really good. And then of course we got Man of Steel.
Yeah.
Henry Cavill, and fantastic. Cinematically, fantastic.
I'd say so. And I think going back to what I said before about playing both parts, I think Henry Cavill kind of got both right. He can do Superman really well and he can do Clark Kent really well.
Yeah. They're building up this big world for obviously bringing the other characters in, aren't they? And so you didn't get a lot of. He didn't find his Clark Kent that we know, the sort of geeky, goofy Clark Kent, very much, and he doesn't really play it like that as such.
It's not a Christopher Reeve Clark Kent that he plays, is it? It's a bit different.
And it kind of works.
It's all right, though.
I think I'd like him just to be a little bit geekier as Clark Kent.
A little bit more nerdy, a bit more
to offset the more grounded Superman performance. And again, cinematically fantastic, budget fantastic, but they rebooted it, so the whole universe, the whole reality in which that is, was redesigned and remade.
Yeah, it worked really well.
It kind of works. I quite like it.
Yeah, I thought it was a good film, and I think we said at the time the next solo film after Man of Steel should be pretty good if it carries on in the same sort of vein. We think it'd be pretty decent. I mean, going back to Henry Cavill again, bit of a funny story. I think I mentioned to you a few weeks back. He was on the set with Simon Pegg and Tom Cruise on Mission Impossible, on the new one. And one thing I didn't know, I'm not sure if you were aware, but Henry Cavill was already quite geeky and already quite into Superman.
Yeah.
And so obviously when they offered him the part, he was all like, it was like, that's amazing. He was really excited about it. And on the set of Mission Impossible, they were going down one of the main streets in LA, I think it was. And he decided, you two guys go back to the studio, Simon Pegg and Tom Cruise. I'm going to have a bit of a run. I've not really had much exercise today. I'm going to have a bit of a run. So he's running on the pavement, on the sidewalk, down the main street. Tom Cruise, Simon Pegg are in the car alongside him, and they suddenly put the John Williams Superman theme on full, and then they crawl alongside him with the windows wound down, with the John Williams themes blaring as Henry Cavill's Superman's jogging at the side. So
Is
a lot
there
of
a video of that?
There may be somewhere. If there was somebody anywhere near, you'd think they'd get the phone out and film that, wouldn't you? But I thought that was quite funny.
Yeah, that's quite funny. I like that. We did a Twitter poll just before Christmas.
We did.
To find out what people thought about who the best Superman was.
Indeed.
A little bit surprising, some of them.
Mm.
We put Christopher Reeve, Dean Cain. We put Henry Cavill.
And Brandon Routh, of course.
And Brandon Routh. A little unfair. Brandon Routh didn't get any marks at all for his Superman. He only made one film. It did get a little bit trashed in the media, and a lot of fans didn't like it. It wasn't a good film to bring people into. You had to be fans before, I think, to watch it.
To appreciate it.
So I think that was a bit...
It probably came out at the wrong time, didn't it? If it'd come out a few years later, when it was Superman was a bit more in trend in film stuff, I think maybe it'd have done a little bit better, but...
Yeah.
There we go.
And again, this one, Dean Cain, only 4 We only got 4% on that at the time.
Yeah, I suppose it's because he's not really been a movie Superman, he's only been a TV Superman.
Yeah, I did
So
4 series of it there, and it was quite popular in the US.
It was, I remember it being quite big at the time when
It was
on
the
TV.
90s, so, you know,
It was
you
the
look
90s.
back now and it is very dated, but
Yeah.
it's a bit of a shame, I thought.
It-
Henry Cavill, the newest one, 26%, which is quite nice, I suppose.
Yeah.
From looking at that poll, 26% for Henry Cavill is quite nice. A lot of obviously new people coming into Superman.
Yeah,
like him.
exactly. And I would probably say myself, I'd probably agree with him being above Dean Cain and Brandon Routh, I think.
Yeah, I think
So that's right.
Yeah.
Whatever the percentage, that's about right, I reckon.
I would say it's probably right. And of course, if you've been paying attention to the maths, Christopher Reeve, 70%.
Yeah.
Obviously, he is Superman.
He
That's-
trashed through all of them pretty much, didn't he, to take the win?
Yeah. So that was the results of the poll from before Christmas. That's our quick thoughts on Superman. To be fair, I wonder if people's opinions would change now.
Maybe. We need
Maybe
to have a
we'll
look.
redo that poll and see if that's changed at all.
Yeah.
Depending what's happened cinematically.
We need to do another one.
That might be worth looking at. And next time I think we should do Batman. We'll talk
Yeah.
Batman. We've done a poll on
That
Batman,
makes
so
sense.
we'll have a quick talk about Batman next time.
Yeah, we'll go through
So-
the results of Batman and see what we think about that.
Yeah, so we'll do that very soon. So
Sounds
any
good.
thoughts about Batman, who you think's the best and why, then obviously drop us a line and we'll have a look.
Yeah, we'll have a look at that.
Thanks for joining us and we'll catch you
Thank
next
you.
time.
Bye.